Hello there, guys. This is Ashton Johnson, CEO of Nitrous Holdings LLC, and I'm going to tell you in just over 3 minutes why bigger investors should probably get behind my company and what our vision is for the future. Let's get into it. Number one, so this year is 2025, and you know, Nitrous Holdings was founded about 5 years ago in 2020, and even though we're still in startup status, right? I saw a vision back then for just the way that the economy kind of conducted itself during the pandemic, right? I saw that things can easily go boom and they can do really well, but they can also go bust, probably just as quick. And you have the rich and the rich and the elites. They pretty much make out just fine overall. But I just saw an article just a few days ago that said that middle class Americans and just everyday Americans, they haven't really gained any value since then, and that's 5 years of time, hard work and labor pretty much just wasted, right? And especially if you account for inflation, right? So I set out on a mission in the middle of 2020 to try to find ways and try to find different asset classes and just different methods to return as much value as possible to everyday Americans, middle class Americans, and Americans that they basically are just getting by, right? Um, and that's exactly why I named my company Nitrous Holdings LLC. Um, it's our goal, right, to try to help people understand, financial literacy, things about interest rates, money, the value of the U.S. dollar, the U.S. reserve currency, in its relation to the world, and then just understand what the government is doing, which is just terrible policy in spending, right? And how that dilutes the value of the dollar. It dilutes your purchasing power, and it dilutes, really the future that we all have and that we all want, right? So it's our goal to try to get them to chase yield and at least get into assets that either are going to retain its value, but more or less try to chase assets that gain value, right? And that way you have just a better future going for yourself, right? A brief example here would be Venezuela. Venezuela was once known as like the Saudi Arabia of Latin America. Back in the like 60s and 70s, it was like an unchallenged economy pretty much. And then you had again other competitors that came into the market: Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, right? And then eventually U.S. shale oil, right? All these markets they kind of came online, and yeah, when everything was great and the oil price was amazing, Venezuela did well, right? But when the oil markets went down, they were like now defaulting on debt loans and rationing out food and having all this like civil war and stuff. And that's just not the way that that things need to go here in America, right? So let's get a good vision for American families, and let's understand that people need to responsibly chase yield in order to have a better future here in America. That's what made us number one, and that's what's going to help us stay number one. Thank you.